Yeah.
Radio Club.
Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Friday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA. It's time for the weekend special. And this is a show you never know what's going to happen. It's always a surprise show. And because it is 2003 Zulu on September 23rd, 2022, we have two special guests coming today live from Svalbard, the Juliet Whiskey Zero Alpha DXpedition. It's Greg W8IZT and Hal W8HC. Hello, Greg and Hal.
Hey, Tim. How are you?
Hey, Tim.
Good, good. Is Hal, can Hal sneak in there, or is he holding it?
I'm gonna try to sneak in here.
Okay. There you go. There's Hal.
Oh, perfect. Hey, and Tim, my call sign is W6IZT, and I'm sure that was just a matter of Hal's sloppy handwriting.
No, W6IZT, right?
Correct.
There we go. All right. And you guys are way up north. In fact, you're within 1,000 miles, I think, of the North Pole. Is that right?
About 800 miles, Tim. And we're so far north that the northern lights are south of us.
Well, so tell us about the DXpedition. We'll get into some of your slides here in a minute. Tell us, what are you guys doing up there?
So the Dateline DX Association has been an organization that has put on a number of major DXpeditions over the year. Decided to put together a trip to Svalbard. It's a real unique location. What makes this feasible is that there is a club station here, Juliet Whiskey 5 Echo, which is the Svalbard Amateur Radio Club, and it's managed by Peter, JW0A. And so it's a ready-made shack. Antennas are all in place. All we had to do was bring our own electronics, radios, amplifiers, laptops, and so forth. And so it's kind of like a plug-and-play expedition, if you will. Great location, right on a fjord, snow-covered mountains around us. It almost gets dark at night, but there's a little sliver of twilight sometime around 2 or 3 in the morning, and that's as dark as it gets. We've got a team of 9 operators up here, and I'm going to have to pull out my cheat sheet real quick. The team leader is Tom, N4XP, who's done a number of expeditions. Joe Blackwell, who's amazing, AA4NN, Rick, N4HU, a couple of our friends from the Caribbean and South America, Rigo, HI8RD, and Ramon, YV5, Echo Echo Delta, and Nathan, K4NHW, Hal, W8HC, who we all know, and myself, W6IZT.
Wow, that's a great group of guys, and I've got your QRZ page up for JW0A, and looking good. Tell us about QSOs. How are you guys doing?
We're somewhere around about 8,000 Qs. You know, we've all heard about polar flutter and polar propagation. It's really something to experience. We've had days of great propagation where we've been working all corners of the world simultaneously fairly easily. You know, the sun has been a little active this week, and we'll be working away, and it's like somebody flipped a switch and the propagation just disappears for a minute, an hour, or so forth, and then it comes back. But in general, in my opinion, the propagation has exceeded my expectations. I didn't know what to expect. It's a real challenge on CW trying to maintain rate when there's a lot of flutter. Sometimes the signals are weak and everybody's in the mud, but we're doing our best to make as many cues as we can. And one of the things that's really been telling for me, and this has been a mixed bag for a lot of us over the past few years, is FT8. But at the bottom line, FT8 opens DXing to a whole new audience. There are call signs out there that we've never worked before. We're working stations at signal levels that are 10 dB below what we could, work them on CW. So at the end of the day, we're going to have a lot of FT8 queues because we turn there when we can't work stations on other modes. We're going to probably spend some time on FT8 during the RTTY contest this weekend. If you contesters will spare us a little bit of spectrum. And, all in all, it's been a great experience. Peter, JW7QIA stroke LA7QIA. I met him for the first time on Monday. We spent the afternoon together, have a lot of mutual interests. We're both very much technologists as well as ham radio operators. So we had a lot to talk about, and it seems that that'll probably lead to opportunities in the future for us to come back up and participate in some major contests with these guys.
Boy, that sounds great, Greg, and thanks so much for that description. I see the DX Engineering website is on board there.
Gosh.
To add on something that he was talking about on the conditions and so forth, I really anticipated that we would see similar conditions to what we had seen out at ADAC Island, the K7K operation back at the end of July. And it really, the conditions have been surprisingly good, to the point that, our ace phone operators, so we've got some ace phone operators, Rigo, HI8RD, Ramon, Yankee Victor 5 Echo Echo Delta, Nathan. These guys have turned up some fantastic numbers on SSB contacts, which, really is surprising. It's not typical DXpedition that's laden heavy in FT8 and CW, but been very, very productive on the SSB QSOs from here. So we know that there's a lot of folks that we've put into the log with the phone contact. So that's a major plus, I think.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Go ahead, Greg.
You were going to tee up some slides about the antennas.
Yeah. Hal, did you want to do the outside inside thing?
Well, I think there's too much shake in the.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're just going to park right here. I think there's just too much movement involved. So.
All right. Well, let's.
One of the things, if you have the entrance to the shack here.
Oh, yeah. I've got that. So.
Okay. One of the things that's a custom here is when you enter a building, you take your shoes off. They have little boxes and little places where you can park your shoes. But
do you see the front there, Hal?
No, I can't see the screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. So just as you come inside, there's a little area where you can take your shoes off and leave them. And so, we kind of walk stocking feet around here most of the time. That's just a custom that they have here. There's a kitchenette inside the station, and a nice little living room area. And so, if you're not on the air, you can sit on the couch or lay on the couch. He likes to take naps when he's not on the air. And so Greg gets his little power naps in sometimes. But, actually we're staying at a Radisson, a really nice Radisson hotel. It's about a half a mile from here. And so we have rented a vehicle, and we shuttle, we have shuttle service to get the shift change. So,
so Hal, we're showing some of the slides now.
Okay.
I noticed that the shovel is up out of the way, maybe of snow that's right outside the door.
Yeah. So and there's some quite a bit of snow in a couple of those photos, I believe. We've had rain today. We had rain that started yesterday, and I think we're going to have rain for the next 2 days. But believe it or not, when we arrived here, there was snow, a lot of snow. There was ice. I mean, it was very icy. And now most of that's actually gone. So My understanding is the temperature got up to 41 or 42 today, and it's going to remain in the low 40s throughout the rest of the week. So I think that's pretty much the norm here.
So,
But,
so
yeah.
Hal, tell us about the antenna, the rotatable. It's on top of the tower.
Yeah, so we have it's a JK rotatable 40-meter dipole that has played really well. The tower itself, I think, is right at 100 feet, at least to the top of the 40-meter, and then below that is one of the JK Nabasa antennas. Off the tower, they have several slopers and dipoles, for the low bands, 60 meters and so forth. So, they've got a lot of antenna selection here, and so that's gives us some options. But we have had a few.
Yeah, I mean, you go into a strange shack, you always run into a few challenges, and we had the tools and the pieces we need to work through most of them. One of the things that I didn't even anticipate about this site is that the house is the shack and the tower is sitting on permafrost, and true ground is about 400 feet down. So vertical dipoles hung off the tower play very well. The dipoles, you might think, well, an 80-meter dipole is not that high, but electrically, it is quite high and it plays quite well. It's a great location. We have a pipeline to Japan. We can work Japan on a couple of bands 24 hours a day. It's just been amazing. Southeast Asia as well. And as Hal said, I wasn't expecting the kind of conditions we were getting. We're hoping that the sun stays quiet through the weekend so that we can continue to up our QSO total, and that you guys who are going to be in the contest this weekend will have great propagation and can put up some huge numbers as well.
Exactly.
No, that sounds great. And you see, let's see what we have here in the chat, just in case there's some questions here that you guys need to answer.
Sure.
And let's see, we've got some folks on here. Dino KL0S, he says, I'm looking forward to working the guys on 80 and 40 for the low bands. And what modes are you on the low bands, Greg?
We're on CW, FT8, and sideband. We try to do as much CW as possible. And when conditions deteriorate, we'll go to FT8. As Hal said, we've got some really great phone operators, and when they're in the chair, they're working phone and knocking out queues as quickly as they can.
Yeah,
okay.
Something happened this morning that was kind of interesting, and I've experienced this before. I was on 30-meter CW, and I had a fairly decent rate going on 30 CW and JAs. I mean, it was mostly JAs, and then there was less and less, and then the flutter got so bad, and then the band just pretty much died. And so I switched to FT8, and it was like it lit up. And so it's one of those things. You always know that if the band dies on CW, you want to check your FT8, because you're going to decode stations that otherwise you're not going to work on CW at all. And so I was really impressed by how that worked this morning, and probably made a good 60 or 80 Qs within the next hour on FT8 on 30 meters, but that I couldn't have made on CW at all. It just wasn't.
Well, you know how I know this is not your first DXpedition, so you know how to roll with the punches. So that's really good. We also have KE8 Radio Juliet United, and this is Grace. She's a teenager, and she said, I was able to work JW0A on 20 meters. And Grace is part of an all-ham family. So Grace, nice to have you in the JW0A log.
Yeah.
And let's see here. We got a couple of other folks that are on here with us. Afternoon from Arizona. Let's see. We've got LA8 Echo Kilo Alpha, and he's also Juliet Whiskey 8 Echo Kilo Alpha. He says, hello, good afternoon. Looks like a great time. I have operated 3 times from the club station in Svalbard, going back to, he's going back in 2023. So that's another fellow that'll be up there. And from Australia, it's Victor Kilo 4 Fox Alpha Bravo Quebec. And let's see.
We've worked a lot of VKs from here. Right.
And also Wayne, Kilo 8 Fox, who's one of the DX Engineering sales team. He said, thanks for the 20 meter FT8 QSO today, DE FF. So you're getting to work some of the DX Engineering guys as well. And of course, Hal, you're wearing the DX Engineering shirt up there. Hopefully it's not too cold.
Well, yeah, I tell you, when the wind stops, it's not too cold, but the wind will cut right through you up here, and it's really dry here. Greg and I we've been battling this thing with our sinuses, and a couple of the other guys as well, and so yeah, it's some interesting weather up here. Do you have the photo of the reindeer?
Yeah, I do have the photo of the reindeer, and we can put that back up, and also the Svalbard.
Yeah, it's up on the main street. They've got a really nice main street. You know, this has gotten to be a major tourist area. In fact, there was a cruise boat came through here. They were getting ready to board a cruise boat that was going to take the Northwest Passage from here to Iceland. And so, I mean, it was wall to wall in the cafeteria or the dining hall in the hotel this morning. And but the tourism has become the major source of revenue at Svalbard. Svalbard was just of course, a nice takeoff on the, and we've eaten there twice maybe. I think we've eaten there.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Then the food's very good. There's some really good food. I'm getting to eat some fish, which I love. I love fish, so that's a good thing. But there's a lot of construction going on this island, and so it's growing, and so it's going to continue to be a destination place for tourists. It looks like. So.
Well, and it's got a great ham radio station, and you know, with how many hams live on the island permanently, Hal?
I think there's 4 or 5. I've been told, and so I know 1 or 2. I think we're going to try to come over, but I don't know if that's going to get to take place. But yeah, there are some people now. They come here, they'll stay here for several months and then go back to Norway or wherever home is. So I don't know how many exactly are here right now, but supposedly there are 5 or so that have some kind of occupancy here. So.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff, and I think we've answered all the questions that were on here. Hopefully, a lot of the viewers can get to work you guys if they haven't worked you yet. And so, let's talk about what is the most popular band for you guys. Where are the chance? I mean, they can always look at the DX clusters and things like that, and PSK Reporter. But what's the best band, Hal?
Go ahead, Greg.
So 20 meters has been the money band. It's open 24 hours a day to some part of the world. 30 meters is also open around the clock. 17 meters opens up fairly early after sunrise. And if propagation is good, the openings will follow up the bands. We had good openings on 15 and 12 yesterday. We were a little bit late getting to 10 yesterday, and we didn't have a 10-meter opening today. So tomorrow and Sunday, all of the ops will keep their eyes on both 12 and 10 meters so we can give out those more elusive contacts that aren't really there as often as some of the other more productive bands.
So have you worked North America on 10 meters, Greg?
No, we have not yet, but that is definitely a goal and a focus of ours.
Okay. Bobby Duncan says, what antenna switches and controllers are you using up there?
That's a good question. Let me turn around real quick. The antennas, I think they might be from DX Engineering.
Look at that.
And there's a quadruplexer that is a perf box quadruplexer.
It's actually a pentaplexer.
Pentaplexer,
No,
yes.
a pentaplexer.
A 2x8 switch. Everything is automated. The station is really set up to be a multi-2 operation, but flexible enough where we can get 3 or 4 stations running simultaneously if we need to.
Yep. Greg, any 160 meters going on?
We've got a good 160 meter antenna. It radiates so well right now that we're getting a little bit of RF in the shack. We're trying to chase that down, but without participation from the station manager, we don't want to go too far with regards to trying to change things and all. And I think that when Peter comes back up, there's a short list of things that we wanted to share with them that could have worked better, and I'm sure that those things will get knocked out, and hopeful that we can get back up here next November and enjoy a little bit of contesting with the folks that are members of the club. Okay,
very good. Well, Greg and Hal, thanks so much for taking time out of the Dxpedition and talking to everybody today. It's rare when we can get Hal live. We like to get him live when he's actually in the throes of the Dxpedition. So we're going for DXCC with Hal.
Yeah. This guy here, he's been on a lot of Dxpeditions. In fact, he's been on many major top 10s.
And none of them couldn't have been possible without the support and participation from DX Engineering. And for that, we're really grateful. But Tim, there's one thing that really, I struggle with is your hair. You got such nice hair, Tim. And
I'll give you some, Greg.
Significantly challenged in that department.
Well, Greg, wouldn't have it any other way. I've always known you without the hair, and you're looking good. You're looking happy. You guys are well fed up there, and hopefully you're having just a great time. And we'll be looking for you on the bands, and hopefully you'll get back safe and sound, and then we'll be asking Hal where to next.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we've enjoyed it, and we're kind of in our element here. But before we sign off, we've got somebody here I don't want to leave off. I'm going to turn this around.
Yeah.
Don't turn it too much. Is Nathan, while we've been doing this, he's been patiently sitting over there making QSOs. Nathan, what band are you on?
Currently on 20 Foxhound.
He's on 20 meter Foxhound. Can you see him there?
Oh yeah, that's a great shot.
Oh, okay. So there is Nathan, K4 NHW. He's another Georgia boy, and so he's enjoying himself and just done a outstanding job. And again, a lot of these other guys, it's been a really good team. And so Dateline Dxpedition, Dateline DX Association put together a really good team here. So proud to be a part of it.
Well, Nathan and Hal and Greg, it's just so cool to see a Dxpedition going on live, and you are in a very remote place on the earth, and it's just very cool that the wireless amateur radio is making it just that much more special. So Hal, Greg, Nathan, thanks very much, and we'll look for you on the bands this weekend.
Okay.
Excellent, Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Y'all have a wonderful weekend, and appreciate you helping us out here, brother.
All right. Always take care of yourself, Hal. See you, Greg.
All right, Tim. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
And 73 from DX Engineering.